40 years from now, you will see how different things will look. When you look at Congress, 30% of Congress are going to be Muslims, and 30% of senators, and then all of a sudden U.S. has a Muslim president.
Yeah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi arsala rasulahu bil huda wa dinil haqq liyuzhirahu 'ala dini kullihi wa kafa billahi syahida. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Berjumpa lagi dengan channel saya Mars Techno. Saya doakan semoga semua sahabat dalam keadaan sehat selalu. Pada video ini kami akan menampilkan kekhawatiran dari seorang Patrick Bet David, seorang pengusaha kaya raya asal Amerika Serikat yang mengungkapkan bahwa Islam akan mendominasi di dunia. Ada apa sebenarnya? Nah sahabat, mari kita saksikan saja video selengkapnya dan saya akan sedikit mereaksinya.
Which religion has the most kids? Okay. And the changing global religious landscape, babies born in Muslims will begin to outnumber Christian births by 2035, okay?
Wow.
And people with no religion face a birth dearth, okay?
Great name.
Babies born to Muslims go 20. So show the data there. Show the data, go a little bit lower so we can see that. There you go. So Christians, red. Muslims, green. Christians are not having babies like they once were having, and Muslims are having more babies. So if this is from Pew Research, and you got to trust Pew Research, they're not on one side or the other. They're just going to give you the data that they have. They don't.
Just facts.
It's not CNN or Fox. So go a little lower to see if there's any more data to look at here. Go a little lower to see if we have anybody else. Okay, there you go. So let's look at this one here. Estimated shares of birth and deaths. Compared to with their share number of overall 2015 population, Christians make up the largest share of 2010. Deaths, Muslims, a largest share of births. Okay? If you look at that number, 31% to 21%, but Christians, there's more dying than being born. Muslims, they have 10% more being born than dying. And then if you look at the disparity by 2055 and 2060, okay, Muslim religion is going to get bigger than Christians in the world because Muslims are having more kids. If I'm a Christian leader at the top and I'm a leader of 1,000 churches, I'm probably having this conversation with my community. By the way, shout out to Mormons for having more kids.
Yeah.
They're growing their base more. I know this could be kind of funny, like we're being funny about it. I'm actually not.
Yeah,
I think if you really want to, your competition's having more kids than you are.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's going to be more population there to impose their way of thinking.
Of course.
And believing, and they're going to outnumber you.
Yep. Okay?
So Christians, hey, go make some babies today because that number is not looking good for you. Then go to the next one that I sent to you, which was what causes population to increase. By the way, this entire time while you guys are talking, I've been looking at the stuff. I'm actually really curious to know what the hell is going on here with this.
I'd like to revisit that optimism.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. So go and just Google the following. Just Google in another page. Google largest population of religion. You just put largest religion population. So all the way at the top, Christianity right now is what?
First place.
2.382. It ain't going to be there for too long.
No, it's not.
Muslims are 1.907, which is 25%. And then you have the rest secular, and then you have Hindus on 1.161.
Hit more rows, Rob?
You trying to see Jews?
I'm just trying to see my people where we're at.
Pat,
I know that we're less
I don't
than
blame
1%.
you. Give him some recognition.
I don't know if you
It's
realize
competition, y'all.
Right there, Judaism. Zoom
Try
in.
to wipe us out.
Zoom in. 14.7 million.
I don't know if you guys realize what Pat you made a really good point. Once that shift starts happening,
Game over.
it's the people don't think about it. I'm not saying good or bad thing, but this is a Christian country by a big percentage. The policies, the
Judeo-Christian.
Judeo-Christian. But think about this: all the people, all the decisions, all the mayors, all the everything. Well, it's going to be a complete shift on the religion that runs, and you're going to see changes.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? The average person's watching this right now. The average listener listening to this right now, they're like, "Oh, who cares about this?"
Yeah,
you don't care about it. You're 42 years old.
Yeah.
You got your job. You're laughing. Maybe it's like, it's not a big deal. 40 years from now, you will see how different things will look. Mm-hmm. When you look at Congress, 30% of Congress are going to be Muslims. And, 30% of senators, and then all of a sudden, U.S. has a Muslim president.
Yeah.
And then, hey, what's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with
Zero.
that. And now, and this isn't to fear that. This isn't to fear that. This is if you have a certain belief and you have a lot of pride in that, well, then show up and make some babies and raise some leaders and inject your philosophy into this, because Muslims get a shout out for absolutely doing that better than Christians are doing it right now.
The stat that you just showed, was that for the world or the United States?
World population.
Okay, so I don't think that has a direct effect on the United States.
I
in a
disagree.
sense that our Muslim population would have to grow at an even faster rate than that, because most of our immigrants are actually coming to the country from other Christian nations, such as Catholics from Latin America.
Say that one more time.
Well, most of the immigration into the United States, most of the population growth is happening within the Hispanic community.
I totally get it. They've grown
which is mostly
24%.
Catholic, yeah.
Yes, 24%. But when you have a long-term thinking mindset and your opponent does not, it's just a matter of time until you infiltrate universities, until you infiltrate educational system, until you infiltrate school systems, until you infiltrate building churches, until you infiltrate politics, until you infiltrate media, until you they're already doing it right now anyways. And by the way, this isn't if you're Muslim and you're a leader of Islam, your kudos to you strategically. Christians are sitting on the sidelines being very casual about it, and it's almost like the competitor that thinks, it's not a big deal, they're never going to pass us up. Okay, brace for impact, because it's going to come very, very quickly. And when it hits you, the difference between Muslims and Christians is what? The other day, this what's his name, the football player who wore that jacket at Super Bowl. Did you see the jacket he wore mocking Jesus?
Yeah.
Did you
I know.
see the jacket?
Who was it? Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin.
Yeah.
The guy that
almost died on the field.
Yeah, and he was praying.
What?
Yeah, and the AOC said something about
He
it.
wears this jacket mocking Jesus, and
what is that?
yeah, so he wears this jacket.
After he was praising
Do
Jesus.
you know who called him out? Adrian Peterson pulls him out and tweets about it and says, "What kind of a thing are you wearing?" And then there's stuff on football right now saying you should tell him that privately, you shouldn't tell him that publicly. Adrian Peterson's like, "What are you doing?"
But
This is the guy that almost lost his life for the Bills.
The guy that was like
We should be freaking praying.
the guy that the first thing was Lord loves me and the God was looking at me, and then he did that.
So, but here's the point, though. Here's the point. Here's what they're going to say, though. Someone's going to say, "Oh, grow up, guys. This is called art.
Yeah.
This is called art." Really? No problem. Why don't you do the same art in Prophet Muhammad, and let's see if you'll call that art as well and wear it in the Super Bowl.
Never again.
Go ahead and do that. But here's the point. The point is Christians tend to be forgiven, and they say, "Let it slide." Muslims are not going to be
they don't play
forgiven
games.
and say, "Let it slide."
No.
So there is that standard and expectation where if somebody sits, let's just say you have two kids. One kid you joke with, he takes it. The other kid you joke with, he says, "Don't do that again. I don't like that when you do that in front of people." Okay? Guess whose standard you're going to step up to as a parent? The kid that tells you, "Don't make fun of me in front of my friends."
Yeah.
That's exactly what's happening here. One religion's like, it's okay, let it slide. The other religion's like, no, don't do it. So not only are they growing faster, they're more disciplined.
100%.
They believe more. They have higher standard and expectations of their members. There's a more disciplined way of what you need to do on a daily basis, praying. The level of commitment to that religion is much higher.
100%.
So that's what they're injecting, and they're going to figure out a way to get into different communities.
Mantap, mantap, mantap bos. Sebuah video podcast yang sangat menarik dari sebuah channel YouTube PBD Podcast atau kepanjangan dari Patrick Bet David, seorang pengusaha kaya raya asal Amerika Serikat yang merupakan CEO dari sebuah agen asuransi di AS. Di awal podcastnya, dia mengungkapkan ada sebuah data yang sangat mencengangkan. Sebuah penelitian dari lembaga survei di Amerika Serikat yaitu Pew Research Center Menurut survei yang dilakukan di tahun 2010 sampai 2015 bahwa agama Kristen masih mendominasi dunia dengan jumlah 2,38 miliar atau 31,1%. Di urutan kedua adalah agama Islam dengan jumlah 1,9 miliar orang atau 24,9% dari populasi dunia. Lebih detail, Pew Research Center mengungkapkan dari tahun 2010 sampai 2015 jumlah angka kematian versus kelahiran di dalam agama Kristen sangat mengkhawatirkan. Lebih banyak jumlah kematian dibandingkan jumlah kelahiran. Jumlah kematian sebanyak 37%, sedangkan angka kelahiran bayi hanya 33%. Sedangkan di kalangan kaum muslimin kebalikannya. Jumlah kelahiran melebihi jumlah kematiannya, yaitu kelahiran sebanyak 35% dan jumlah kematian adalah 31%. Sehingga diprediksi di tahun 2060 Islam akan merupakan agama yang terbesar di dunia. Hal ini tentu sangat mengkhawatirkannya. Banyak kelahiran bayi di kalangan kaum muslimin bisa merubah landscape dunia ke depannya. Kristen yang sebelumnya mendominasi dunia perlahan-lahan akan tergeser dominasinya. Jangan kaget jika 40 tahun dari hari ini kita akan menemukan bahwa 30% anggota dewan di Amerika Serikat adalah muslim. 30% anggota senator Amerika Serikat adalah muslim. Dan tiba-tiba Anda akan menjumpai Presiden Amerika Serikat adalah seorang muslim. Ini bukan hayalan dan bukan candaan. Dan bukan pula menakuti kalian semua. Tapi ini adalah suatu data yang harus kita analisis lebih dalam. Sekian, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.